everybody, it's your girl Nefarious, and I'm here today to walk and sew along with you on the brand new sew along called the Pavlos. The Pavlos is a super tiny little bitty AirPod holder that I designed for K&A. And let me tell you, Alex and Kim have some super cute designs coming, and I'm going to give you a sneak peek. Aren't those adorable? But wait, there's more. One more. Where's my Slytherins at? Oh, isn't that cute? So, come along with me as I walk you through how to sew the Pavlos. For the Pavlos, we are going to use some pretty basic tools. We're going to have our clips. I'm going to have 8 full sets of rivets, 1 set of snaps. Now you could also use a magnet if you want to do that. It's entirely up to you. It works both ways. This is what I meant by a keychain ring. You could also use a D-ring, but this is a keychain ring I will be using. I do use double-sided tape. I will be using 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch throughout this video. It's totally up to you though, however, which one size you want to use, or you don't have to use it at all, but I prefer to use it. I will be using my awl, snips of the machine, a lighter to singe my threads, my rulers. I will probably be using this one the most because the sizes and the markings that I make utilize this one the most. Obviously we need our hole punch, and then I will also be using my cam press to set both the rivets and the snaps. As far as pieces go, you're going to have an outer front and an inside front. You're going to have an outer main and an inside main, which you will note are opposite of each other. You're going to have a gusset. You will only have one of those. You will have one handle, and then you will have 2 skinny long pieces called the straps. And those are all the pieces that you're going to need to make the Pavlos. So what we're going to want to go ahead and do is make some markings. I have my pencil and that skinny ruler I was telling you I'd probably be using the most. I am measuring in to 3/8 of an inch in on those straps, and I'm just going to make a mark going all the way down the center on those. Just like that. Then I'm going to get my handle, and then I'm going to measure in 1/2 inch and draw a line on that. Here is where I will be using my double-sided tape. Now, again, you could use whatever your preference is. For this initial step, I will be using the 1/2 inch. Now, if your machine can't handle the 1/2 inch, you need to use the 1/4 inch, or if you even need to use something smaller, please, by all means, use that. But I like the 1/2 inch myself in this situation, just to hold everything in place. Once we get here, I am going to pull this tape off, and then I'm going to pull the edges and line them up to the line. I will do that for both the straps and the handle. Set that there. All right. On the outer front, you are going to measure over 1.75 inches. Okay. And then you are going to measure up 1 1/4 inches from the bottom. And right there is where I'm going to put my hole using my awl. And I will install the female end. So I'll set that one there. Then I want the inside main. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to measure up 1 inch. I'm going to draw a line. And then I'm going to measure over 1.75 inches. Nope, that's 1 1/4. 1.75 inches. Draw a line. And I'm going to poke a hole right there with my awl. Just going to poke a hole. I'm going to install the male end. And I'm going to take these two to my press and I'm going to have those set. Once we get those set, I am just going to line this up using clips. You want to make sure this is lined up very well. Like I said, you want to make sure it's really good and lined up. Now we will trim some things up if they don't come out the right way, but that's all right. So those are good. Now, obviously, if we don't touch everything, we're not in the Nefarious video, right? So now we're going to get our gusset and we're going to flip it over. I'm going to use a ruler and I'm going to measure in 2 1/4. And I'm going to make a small mark, probably what you would call in the seam allowance. Again, that's 2 1/4. We'll flip it over. 2 1/4. Make a mark, make a mark. You can use your scissors or your snips, and then I'm going to cut. This is probably going to be about 3/8 of an inch snip on all 4 of those marks. And now that can be set aside for now. Now we will be going to the machine. We are going to take both of our straps. My tape isn't wanting to stay, even though I said I wanted to use that big piece. So we're going to take both our straps. We're going to take our handle, this front piece, and this main piece. So we're going to take those all to the machine and we are going to sew them all up. So let's go ahead and get that done. When we are sewing our strap and our handle, forget that. Everything we're going to sew, we're going to leave our strings long and pull to the back, and we are stitching with a 1/8 inch seam allowance. It makes it look very nice, very elegant, very professional. So I'm going to go around all these sides, leaving again the strings long at 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to do it for both the straps, the handle, the inside, the front flap, and the main outer. I'll start with the straps because they seem to take a little bit longer, and then we'll do those as well. Once you have everything stitched up, you can go ahead and pull your threads to the back and so we've got both of our handles I'm sorry, we got both of our straps. We got our handle, our outer and main flap done, and we've got our inside. So let's go back to the table and we will start putting these together. So for this next step, you're going to need both your straps, your handle, some 1/4 inch double-sided tape, a ruler, and a marking tool specifically for these straps. Now, right off the bat, I can tell you that you're going to want to make a mark roughly 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch up in the middle from each of the small sides. Mark 1. And then you could go ahead and hole punch those. So this is what mine looks like right now. Okay. So the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to do this on both sides. We are going to make okay, first off, I like to line this up as close as I can against the ruler. And then we are going to make a mark at in the center of the strap at 1/2 inch. Then you're going to make another mark at 1 5/8. You're going to make another one at 3 inches. So right here. And then when we flip this around from the bottom, it'll be 1 1/2 inches up. Okay. Set that there. And we'll say that again here. Make them match. So we're going to do 1/2 inch. Come on now. 1 5/8. Three inches. And then when you turn it around, you're going to do a mark at 1 1/2. I'm going to break out my 1/4 inch tape here. I'm going to flip that around. And I'm going to place that on the end that's got the 1/2 inch mark. And I'm just going to go up. I will leave probably, 1/2 inch or so without tape. Like that. That's closer to 1 inch. So 1 inch to 1 1/2 inches. It's up to you how you want to do that. Alright, so I'm going to pull that off and I'm going to get my outer here. Using my ruler, you want to lay this 1/2 inch in. So I'm going to lay the strap 1/2 inch in. So the side that you made the mark with the 1/2 inch up is going to go against this flat edge here. So your rounded corners are down here, flat edge is up here. Your 1/2 inch mark goes towards the flat edge. So I'm going to have my ruler measured 1/2 inch in, and then I'm going to line that up and then just butt my strap all the way up against it. And you really want to make sure that you line all that up nice and neat, because that's going to affect handle placement. Okay. And then we're going to repeat it for the other side. Measure over 1/2 inch. Line this up at the bottom here with the right one. Okay, and then finger press this down. Now the strap should be hanging about maybe just a smidge more than 1/4 of an inch off the edge. I think they look really nice about 1/4 of an inch. You can level them up and make them nice and even if you would like. Yeah, mine's about 1/4 to 3/8. So At this point, I'm going to take the hole punch and I'm going to hole punch the 1/2 inch, the 1 5/8, the 3 inches, and then the 1 1/2 up here. Now I'm going to do my rivets. Now, this goes, I'm going to put the first one in, which is the front here. You can go ahead and put those caps on. Now, not the 1/2 inch mark, but the mark above those, you can stick those rivets in. And you can put those caps on. For your handle, you're going to stick the rivets through on each end. And then at the 3 inch mark, slide your rivet through on one side, add a cap, slide the, well, while it's still loose, let's not forget, take your D-ringer, slide it through, pop your rivet here, add the cap. Now you can go ahead and set these 6 rivets. So this is where we are at. So here is where we need to be. Now you can do this 2 ways. I'm going to show you the easy way. And I say it's easy because I have done it the other way and I just think this is the easier way. I'm going to attach the gusset to this panel first instead of attaching the gusset to this panel first. Doing it this way, I go ahead and I get the, I don't know, I feel like it's a little trickier, and you got to attach these rivets. So I don't want the whole thing to be constructed when I attach these rivets. So I'm going to go ahead and just slide that to the side. And we're going to pull this through. So what you want is you want the inside main facing up. Now this will not have any kind of lining. And then you should have slit this about 3/8 of an inch on all those markings we made. And what's going to happen, and you can do this a couple ways too, which is ever easier. I tend to maybe start at the bottom. And then what I will do is I will pull those sides up so that they make a nice pretty square where I cut. And then I will pull the other side up, and then I will eyeball roughly where that should fall. Now if you need to make a little bit bigger slit, absolutely okay. It's not going to change how this looks in the end at all. There. Perfect. And then I'm going to clip, and clip. So this is what we have. What I'm going to do is I am not going to sew this continuously. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my threads long, and I'm going to sew this, and then I'll tie that off, and then I will sew this, I will tie that off, and I will sew this, and I will tie that off. I feel like it makes it look nicer, more professional. I will also be sewing with this side up. Now you could totally sew with this side up, it's fine. But I will sew with this side up, so I keep my, if you have coordinating thread that you're trying to keep, or, you know, if you match your bobbin thread, then you don't have to worry about this, but I don't match my bobbin thread a lot of times. As you can see, I have white, and then I have Dementor's Kiss on top. So, that's what I'm going to do. But I will start with one side, sew this, tie it off, probably sew this side, tie it off, and then sew this bottom part and then tie it off. So let's get to the machine and go do that. Got those nice and long. Also, again, staying at 1/8 of an inch. You could also backstitch if you would prefer here. It doesn't matter. Entirely up to you. So now we're going to go back to table, install our last rivets, and attach our last piece. So I've got our last set of rivets. I'm going to go ahead and pop that in. And then I'm going to go ahead and set those with the cam press. And then you're going to want to attach this just like that. What I do myself is I will line the tops up, and I will use 2 clips for a reason. Because I'm going to start on this side, and then I will line an entire side up just like that. Then I will pull uncomfortably so, lining up those corners again, lining up that side as best as you can right now, and then I will flip this out and line up that bottom nicely. Now, the reason I stuck 2 clips here is that when I go to the machine, I am going to sew with the side up, and this is going to help hold it out because it is going to be stiff. It's going to be a little troublesome. It might be easier to sew it this way, but I am going to sew it this way, and I am leaving my threads long, but I'm also only sewing to right here. I'm not sewing all the way down. I'm not sewing onto the pink here. I'm only sewing just this flap down. And then I'm going to move that clip. Once this is secured and tied off, I will move that second clip over to here to sew this side down, doing the exact same thing. And then I'll be able to squish out this bottom and then sew this bottom on. So let's go finish this up. So I'll move my first one. Make sure my threads are nice and long. Then I'm going to push this over here to this side. Ooh. Add that second clip so as you can see it's now holding this one out. Make sure all of my stuff is lined up. That corner's a little funky. That looks good, and then I'm going to sew down to just that corner. Alright, and then I squish the bottom up, making sure everything is lined up. Flip it over. So I'll push the sides in just to give that a little bit flat. Then I will push the bottom in. Then we can fold it and snap it. Give that a nice little fold. And there you go. I want to thank you for coming and sewing along today with me as we made the Pavlos. The Pavlos finishes about 3.5 inches wide, 3 inches tall, and about 1 inch wide unstuffed. This has a great D-ring connector, so we can put all our fun stuff in there, whether it's money, a set of AirPods or earbuds or whatever you guys use. We used 8 sets of rivets. This has a snap installed, completely can use a magnet. This has been so much fun. I gave you a sneak peek of what's coming, but there are going to be so many amazing designs that come out, and I can't wait to see yours out in the wild. So make sure you're tagging K&A and your girl Nefarious, because I can't wait to see all your makes. So for now, ta-ta. See you around.